The day is Saturday, October 25th, 2025. The autumnal Henniker, New Hampshire wind whips through the Lori Cox Memorial Fields, shaking branches still full of leaves that have not yet decided whether they want to be green or auburn. We are here today to watch the worst college football game of all time. New England College will take on Maine Maritime Academy. There are 766 football programs in America. ESPN ranks New England 764th. They rank Maine Maritime 765th. This is the first matchup between two teams ranked in the bottom three since the Dean Bulldogs famously beat the Fitchburg State Falcons on the first week of 2023. Both of these teams come in today hungry for their first victory in years. New England College hasn't won a game since 1950. That is, in honesty, deceptive. They've only played 2 seasons since then, in 1971 and 72. But the point remains, for 75 years, the New England College Pilgrims have not had a win on the gridiron. After over 50 years without it, the private liberal arts college yearned for some football action. And so, in June of 2023, they held a press conference.
Today, I am very pleased to announce that the gridiron is next for NEC Athletics Pilgrim football.
They expressed excitement,
This is big time.
a desire to tailgate,
Forward to seeing you all at our first game and the practices and all the awesome tailgating opportunities that will come.
and shared a few wonderful stories of Pilgrim football of yore.
Just over 50 years ago, in the fall of 1971, the NEC Pilgrims football team lined up for their inaugural game. Those were the days when quarterbacks called their own plays, so I trotted onto the field with enormous confidence. Well, first we snapped the ball with perfect fake to the fullback. I bootleg around the right side, look down, there's Lance. I let the ball go. It is a perfect, tight spiral, and then I'm buried underneath an avalanche of Wisconsin pass rushers. But from the bottom of that pile, I heard this roar, and then it got louder and louder. And I was so excited, I thought my first pass, a touchdown. We're on the board already, and then I remembered we were playing in Danbury, Connecticut.
Editing Max here, this clip is super long, but I love it so much, so I have to keep showing it to you.
Lance White and I used to practice what we do if we ever did hook up on a touchdown pass. During our second season, in the third quarter of a tight game against Plymouth State, Lance got open in the end zone, made a great catch. We headed towards each other for the celebration. Lance tripped, stumbled, went headfirst into a snow fence at the end of the end zone, sprained his neck, and had to leave the game. And we lost. In fact, we lost every game during that 2-year experiment.
And with those warm memories, New England College got to work assembling its football program, appointing a coach with over 30 years of experience, Kevin Kelly, who most notably served as the head coach for Georgetown from 2006 to 2013. Kelly told Alex Hall, the union leader, that the administration handed me a laptop and said, "All right, here you go, start. I've done a little bit of everything, and this is something I've never done before, starting from scratch and building it." As the Concord Monitor describes it, Kelly'd juggled many balls while getting the football program off the ground, and while I'm not sure I can co-sign that exact verbiage, Kelly certainly built this program from the ground up. He visited about 90% of New Hampshire high schools while recruiting, hired a staff, and even held donut eating contests in an attempt to gel his team. Everything is new. They built the field we are currently on this past summer, and after a pre-varsity season in 2024, they joined the Commonwealth Coast Conference and made their tailgating spots available. The Pilgrims started varsity play on September 6th. After starting their first game looking fairly competitive, New England College got pummeled. Saturday after Saturday, they let up over 40 points, and their offense sputtered. They come into today against Maine Maritime with the worst defense in the country. 2 spots ahead of them, at third worst in the country, Maine Maritime. Maine Maritime Academy suspended its football program in August of 2020. Located in Castine, Maine, and home to just 950 students, it is a school more known for its nautical education than its football team. And, as a 3-paragraph email sent to the alumni, staff, and student body explained, with the football program being its most expensive non-academic program, the pandemic ravaging the school financially, and the state curtailing funding, the Mariner brass had no choice but to temporarily hang the anchor. "I just had a loss for words," sophomore wide receiver Tyler Pelletier told Dave Dyer of the Kennebec Journal. "It almost didn't feel real. To be honest, it was a blindside hit. I feel like the community left us in the shadows and said we're a lost cause, almost, and stopped giving us support when we started losing. For the lead people at Maine Maritime to make that decision, it's honestly breathtaking and mind-boggling and hurts my brain to even think about. I'm quite sad about it, to be honest," said sophomore wide receiver Reed Hopkins. "I enjoyed playing football up there. It was pretty fun. Made a great group of friends up there just through football. Obviously, no one really goes to that school for football in particular, but it makes the time pass up there. I had a blast. I'm going to be pretty sad that it's gone." "I feel like we're being stripped of our identity," said senior running back Joshua Thrasher to Dyer. Thrasher started a Change.org petition to reverse the suspension. It got 1,168 signatures. This used to be a storied program. Maine Maritime has appeared in 4 East Coast Athletic Conference Bowls and is a 9-time Northeast Football Conference champ, most recently in 2009 when the Mariners earned an appearance in the NCAA Division III playoffs. But since those glory days, as we know, they've fallen on hard times, going winless in 2019 and 2018, not finishing above 500 since 2010. The only time in recent memory they've made headlines was...
In other news tonight, a referee is recovering after he was hit in the face with a cannon blast while officiating a Maine Maritime Academy football game in Castine over the weekend. According to the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, an MMA alum brought his own cannon to that game. Now, after MMA scores, it's a tradition for the school to shoot off a cannon using a blank shotgun shell. But police say this person brought his own cannon and had it loaded with black powder and something that he had made into a wad. A referee on the field was hit in the head by that wad. You can see he immediately grabbed his head and dropped to the ground as other refs and coaches rushed to his aid. He was taken to a local hospital with what they're describing as non-life-threatening injuries.
The cannon firing tradition started in reference to a prank from the 60s, said Maine Maritime Class of 1969 graduate Jerry Markley to Nick Sambitas Jr. of the Bangor Daily News. "Back in fall 1968, a bunch of my classmates went to Norwich University and stole a cannon. They not only stole it, they cleaned it up and fixed it, got it working, and they brought it back." For 2 years, Maine Maritime's football program was on an indefinite hiatus, until, in September of 2022, a summit was held on homecoming weekend.
So I do have a little bit of a football-shaped void in my heart, just like all of you. Today we're going to talk about a potential path back to football with all of you.
This is the wonderfully named Steve Peed, the Director of Athletics at Maine Maritime in 2022. He and school president Jerry Paul called this meeting to discuss the future of Mariner football.
We have an opportunity. Tuesday this week, one of the 3 conferences in New England that plays football extended an offer for us to begin playing in their league in the year 2025. They're in the process. They're drafting 2 different schedules. One includes Maine Maritime, one excludes Maine Maritime.
This, of course, was followed by an ask.
So I said there's an opportunity. For us to do this, we need to do this now. Total costs to start the program back up at this point are $750,000 for the first 3 years. At the end of the day, by December 31, we need to have 75% of that, $562,500 in hand to get ourselves going back on track. That's the number that we have to get to.
Raising $562,500 is a big undertaking, especially when you only have 3 months to raise it. But the Mariner faithful missed seeing blue and yellow on the gridiron. They began that night and worked diligently, eventually raising $566,778 from 155 donors by their end-of-year deadline. And so, the Mariners were back. A month and a half later, they hired a head coach, Calvin Powell, and coordinators a month after that. They assembled a roster, and after a tune-up varsity match in 2023, they began a 3-game varsity season on September 6, 2024, facing off against Oneonta, New York's Hartwick College. On their third drive of the game, set up by a nice punt return that put the ball on Hartwick's 37-yard line, despite a fumbled snap, Maine Maritime got in for their first varsity touchdown, taking a 6-0 lead. The Mariners were back, and the crowd went wild. What they did not know was that this would be their last lead going into today, Saturday, October 25th, in Henniker, New Hampshire. And what makes it worse? They lost it 17 seconds later.
The Mariners have played 9 60-minute games. That is 540 minutes in total. And with this 17-second-long lead, Maine Maritime has led for less than 0.05% of the time that they have spent playing since their reinstatement. Less than 0.05%. Here is a pie chart depicting that number, and here is a chart breaking that down game by game. 2 of their 10 matches began with the rival team returning the kickoff for a touchdown, and 2 others were started by opposing offenses scoring on their first play from scrimmage. The Mariners are on their 3rd head coach since giving up this lead to Hartwick.
All of that brings us to the present, Saturday, October 25th, in the Lori Cox Memorial Fields in Henniker, New Hampshire. 2 teams burdened by hard-to-believe winless streaks, hoping to finally experience the thrill of victory after so much defeat. One will leave today with their first win in years. The other will continue their agony. What happens when the stoppable force meets the movable object? And we are off. Sophomore Austin Harris has a couple big runs, but Maine Maritime is stopped at the goal line after they go for it on 4th down on the 7. Then, on their first drive, the Pilgrims string a few runs together for a drive that culminates in a touchdown that gives them their first lead since their season opener on September 6th. 7-0 New England.
Sean Taylor is in for the touchdown.
The Mariners start their next drive with a big run from sophomore Will Keach, and after having the ball on 1st and goal at the 3-yard line and throwing a touchdown that was called back for an offensive lineman initiating contact too far downfield, they settled for a field goal, 7-3. A great return by Spencer Bryan leaves the Grims at Maine Maritime's 30-yard line, and a 21-yard run by quarterback Sean Taylor leaves them at the 7. But after Taylor nearly runs it in on 3rd and short, New England is stopped at the goal line. At their own 2-yard line, the Mariners give it to Austin Harris, and he goes all the way, 98 yards for the longest play in Maine Maritime history. Touchdown. The Mariners take their first lead since September 6th, 2024, 10-7. The Pilgrims turn it over on downs, and the Mariners throw an unsuccessful Hail Mary to end the half. 30 minutes down, 30 minutes to go. Maine Maritime up 10-7. If they can hang on, this would be their first win since 2017. New England starts with the ball. They punt it away, and after taking a delay of game, Maine Maritime punts it right back. The men in blue and red march upfield, undeterred by a fumble, with Sean Taylor completing an absolute prayer to sophomore wide receiver Austin Normandin on 2nd and 17. Taylor runs for the touchdown, but it's called back for an illegal shift. And after a close play cuts 3rd and 16 to 4th and 2, the snap is again fumbled, and the Grims turn it over on downs. Maine Maritime is unable to add to their lead, and after the craziest pass you've ever seen, I mean, look at this pass. That goes for 19 yards to cut a 2nd and 22 to 3rd and 3, but unfortunately they punt it away on their own 32. And now, with 10 minutes 12 seconds left on the clock, down 10-3, New England College makes their way downfield, converting on a 4th down. But they stall at the 32-yard line.
An errant pass on third down.
Where did he throw that?
I don't know.
Smokes.
Brings up 4th and 2 with 5:44 on the clock. German sophomore quarterback Lucas Kotstoffer, who just entered the game, delivers to fellow second-year Gavin Auger, and it is caught for a first. The drive continues with a series of runs, and with 3:18 left in the contest, the Grims take the lead, 14-10.
Touchdown! In the end zone for a touchdown is
Wait a minute.
McDonald.
Yeah, there it is.
All they need is one stop. One stop on the offense that has not been able to muster a score since the second quarter. If they get that, they win their first football game since 1950. But the highest high of the New England season is followed by disaster. Maine Maritime's return goes to their own 39-yard line. The Pilgrims and Mariners push and shove, and then this happens. 2 fouls are called. They are both on New England. And just like that, Maine Maritime's drive starts on New England's 41-yard line. The Mariners have hope. This game was always going to come down to the last drive. 2 of the 3 worst teams in America battling for a victory that has proved almost impossible to attain. Finally, after so many Saturdays playing against a team on their level, could Maine Maritime, presented with a golden opportunity, finally come through? Or would New England get a stop, giving them their first win since the color television became commercially available? The first play is blown up by the Grims. Maine Maritime is pushed back to 2nd and 19. A bad start by the Mariners, only made worse by an incomplete pass, which is nearly picked off. With their backs against the wall, freshman quarterback Evan Arcano completes a pass to Harris to reach 4th and 6. 2 minutes left. The Mariners have life. Who will end their streak? Arcano drops back. He rolls out. He lets it fly. The throw is caught. Out of bounds. All New England needs is a first down to run out the clock. Their first 2 plays leave them at 3rd and 6. 6 yards between them and victory.
And the handoff goes to
Here you
McDonald
go.
across midfield. And that's a first down. And that's the ball game.
Nice job, boys.
And for the first time in 51 years, the New England College Pilgrims have a victory on the gridiron.
Nice.
A 14-10 win
That's-
over Maine Maritime.
That's great. That's great.
For the first time in 75 years, New England College has done it. They have finally grasped hold of their first victory since 1950. The Pilgrims, at long last, are triumphant. The impossible is possible, and Henniker, New Hampshire, is finally home to a winner on the football field. For the first time since Dr. Phil was born, the Grims will finish their season with a 1 in the win column. And Maine Maritime will continue their 8-year quest for success, hoping to get a win next Saturday, and if not that one, the Saturday after that. They have what I can only imagine will be a sad 4.5-hour bus ride home. Will they ever win a game again? This is not a sad story. I hope you know that. This is a story about people who make things happen. A story about communities that come together. A story about groups of men that fight through defeat after defeat, getting up when they've gotten knocked down, always reaching for the same goal, win. And, perhaps most importantly, it is a story about hardworking people realizing their dreams, and, after years of waiting, finally getting to tailgate. So, if there are 766 college football programs, and New England is 764th, and Maine Maritime is 765th, then who is 766th? Who is the worst team in college football?
Well, I will let you know that I had the viewing pleasure of watching them every Saturday throughout my time in college. I still tune into games. It is my alma mater, Oberlin College. The Oberlin Yeomen, currently ranked 766th. I have been rooting for New England and Maine Maritime all season because if we're going to be bad, I want us to be the worst. So I'm hoping Oberlin keeps that 766 spot safe for the rest of the season. I need that for me, for my agendas. So go Yeomen. We're winning the Natty next year.